Hi, this is kind of a rant video, and I have another page pulled up. It's on YouTube, and I'm seeing 14 I'm pregnant, 15 I'm pregnant, 16 I'm pregnant, my story, my story, my story, and this just blows my mind. How? I mean, I'm seeing things about 11 and pregnant, 12, 13. I just posted something on Facebook about this, and I'm gonna kind of read over it and paraphrase it, but this blows my mind. I mean, it really does. It throws me off on how these little teeny boppers, and that's what you are. If you are, no, you're not even 13. You're not even a teenager. You're a preteen. 13 and 14 is a teeny bopper. You have just turned into a teenager. You think you're all high and mighty. You're not. You're not even old enough to drive. You're not a teenager yet in my book. But I'm saying, it's like you at that age, you as a little girl, that's what you are. You're not a woman, you are a little girl. You should not even know what a penis looks like in real life. You should not know what that looks like. You should be doodling, or you shouldn't be, but you should not know what a penis looks like. You should be getting shy and getting butterflies in your tummy from holding his hand, getting a kiss on the cheek. That is what you should be. That should be your going all the way, is a kiss on the cheek, alright? You're 13. You, I mean, you shouldn't even, and little boys, you should not know what a vagina looks like. You shouldn't. You shouldn't know what boobs look like at that age, in my opinion. I can understand, knowing what boobs look like. I mean, they're everywhere. They really are. Boobs are everywhere. There's women breastfeeding, which I'm totally for breastfeeding in public. Go for it. That's your baby. And they are everywhere. There are boobs everywhere. They're very lightly covered up. You see them covering up their nipples. Guys have, man titties. So, you know what? That's not that big of a deal. But you should not know what a girl's parts look like between her legs unless it's for sex ed. Then you should know. But you shouldn't know what they look like in real life until you get to health and you watch the video of the woman giving birth. That should be the only one that you should know what they look like, is one that's giving birth. That way you know to stay away from that shit until you're older. I mean, really, it's like, you are just blowing my mind. Why do you want to be so grown up? And what makes you think that you have to be having sex, you have to be drinking, you have to be smoking, you have to be partying and all that to make you feel like you're grown up? You're not. You're just being immature and you're being a little brat is what you are. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're just trying to be mature. You're trying to be grown up. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. And really, little girls, when you are 11, 12, 13, and 14, all that you really should be worrying about is what color eyeshadow you're going to be wearing tomorrow. What color are you going to paint your nails? What shirt looks cute with what shoes? That is what you should be worrying about. You should not be worrying about how sexy you are. It's like, you should not be going and trying to buy dresses that stop right below your booty cheeks and buying high-heeled boots and high-heeled shoes and stilettos. You don't need to be worrying about that. You don't need to be putting on a ton of eyeshadow. You don't need to be putting on fake lashes and lipstick and flat ironing your hair. You're 11, 12, and 13. You don't need to be worrying about that. And when I say, worrying about what color eyeshadow you're going to be wearing tomorrow, I mean those little sponge brushes that come with the eyeshadow packets, and putting a little bit of that on to make you feel prettier, because everybody knows little girls want to feel like their mommies and they want to feel pretty, so they put on makeup. That is okay. Whenever you're just putting on a little bit, but once you start looking like a hooker, you're wearing too much makeup. When you start looking like you're 18, you're wearing too much makeup. And moms, or just parents in general, if your little girl is saying that she wants to wear a thong and she's 11 years old, you need to reevaluate what you have been doing. She is 11 years old. She does not need to be wearing a thong. at the absolute most, if she tries to say that it's so her panties don't show through her skirt, you go and you buy her a pair of seamless panties, the boy short kind. That way they ain't gonna show, and ain't nobody need to be worrying about what she's wearing. She's just saying that she wants to wear thongs and push-up bras. She's trying to be sexy. Little girls, I don't care what you try to say. That's what you're doing. You're trying to be sexy and you're trying to boost up for something that you ain't got. You don't need to be wearing thongs and G strings and B strings and stuff like that. You don't need to be worrying about that. You don't need to be wearing a push-up bra. You're a little girl. You are barely hitting puberty. You don't need to be worrying about making yourself have double D's or being a C or anything. That will come to you naturally over time. You don't need to try to force that. Wait till you're about, 16 and you're starting to date, or, when you're like 17, 18, 19, when you get to where you're about ready to graduate, when you start dating, you could maybe wear a push-up bra when you're in high school to make yourself feel sexy. You're in high school. You're not in middle school at that time. And I'll do a whole different video on that, which may contradict some of the stuff I'm saying in this video, but hey, that's how my mind works. It's contradictory, but it makes sense. And little boys, you don't need to be wearing sagging pants. You don't need to be wearing shirts that have bitch on it or anything like that. You are a kid. You're still a child. And parents, why are you buying this for them? Why are you buying the shorts that don't even go below the little girl's butt? Why are you wearing the why are you buying her these skirts that don't go past her fingertips? Why are you letting them wear the pants that give them a camel toe? Why are you buying them or allowing them to wear shirts that don't even reach their belly button? That is not okay for little kids. You see girls wearing that kind of stuff at the club. And you know what they're doing? They're taking it off to get the singles and the fives and the tens. That's what I feel you are encouraging them to do. I was never allowed to wear a belly shirt. If I lifted my arms up and my shirt went past, and it showed my belly, I had to change my clothes. And I am perfectly okay with that. Did I not like it when I was little? Yeah. That's because I was trying to be grown up when I really shouldn't have been. Little, these are little girls. Their shorts, at the most, can reach their fingertips. They don't need to be wearing short shorts. They don't need to be worrying about that. Their shirts need to come down past their belly button. They don't need to be worrying about, flat ironing their hair to go to school. They don't need to be worrying about that stuff. When I think 11-year-old, what I used to think about was like somebody who's just barely older than my niece. Now when I think 11-year-old, the things that pop into my head are not things I should be imagining when I think of 11-year-old girls. I think of these little girls going around wearing push-up bras and stuff because that's what our society is saying that it's okay to wear. That's what parents are saying it's okay for your kids to be wearing. I know a lot of parents don't do this, or a lot of parents actually, don't let their children wear these kind of clothes. But you do let them have cell phones. You and you don't teach them not to cuss. When I was little, I never cussed around my mom. I would say little things like hell and shit and stuff, but I wouldn't say it anywhere around my parents. It's because I wanted to express my anger or whatever when I was little, but I was 13 before I started cussing. I never said anything around my parents because I had respect for them, and I feared anybody telling my mom or my mom's ex-husband that I was cussing because I knew I was going to get my ass beat for doing that. Parents, if your kid is 11 years old, they don't need a cell phone. They don't need a laptop. They don't need an iPad. They don't need any of that shit. They don't need a cell phone until they are 13. I think is the minimum age for having a cell phone because that's how old I was when I had a cell phone. And parents, you need to be going through their cell phones and checking who they're texting. Check who they Little kids don't need to have picture phones. Get them those basic little Nokia flip phones that don't even have a camera on them, that they can't accept picture messages. So you don't need to be worrying about your little girls and your little boys sending pictures of their private parts or sending nude pictures of themselves to somebody else, because that shit happens, and that is disgusting to think about. You're you need to be going through their phones and checking who they're texting. You should be able to get on their phones. They should not be having a lock on their phone. They should not have any of that. Take their phones away when they go to school. Take their cell phones away when they go to bed at night, because they don't need it. Let your kids have a fucking bedtime. These are kids. They are not old enough to say when they go to bed. I didn't go to bed till up until I was like 13. I had to go to bed at 9:30 because that was my bedtime. Yeah, I stayed awake in my room, but that was when I had to go to bed. And it started out being like 8 o'clock, and then it got up to 9:30. Then it got up to 10. Then it got up to as long as you get yourself up for school. And that's how it was for me. Parents, I don't want to say that you have to be more like my mom, but you need to be more responsible and more in your kids' lives. Otherwise, you're going to be having little kids going out and making out with people, and, you know, you're going to have your little girls come starting their periods. That happens. Little kids, they start puberty early, but they don't need to be saying, I'm a woman now, I can do what I want. No, no, you cannot. Your little girls need to get the talk. Little boys need to get the talk. But then that's when you really need to start paying attention, because that's whenever they're going to be going out and they're going to be going on dates and they're going to be kissing, and then they're going to start having sex. Why am I saying that this is going to happen? Because it is happening. Like I said, I am on a different page on YouTube right now, and I'm seeing 14 and pregnant, my baby story, 15 and pregnant. These are little kids. You're not even old enough to be driving yet. And I know there are other things. You can go on Google and type in one, or teenage and pregnant, or anything of that. Type in 11 and pregnant. You're going to get a result. You can type in 10 and pregnant. You can go on YouTube and type in little girls and pregnancy, and you're probably going to find something. You go anywhere. These are little girls. They are 11 years old and all that. And it's horrible. Parents, you need to be watching what your little girls and what your little boys are doing, because it's not just the little girls. It's the little boys who think, oh, I'm old enough to have sex. No, you're not. You don't even know what all is going on down there. You may think you do. You do not know everything that's going on down there. Little girls, you do not know everything that's going on down there. Trust me, you don't. You need to, like I said, be worrying about what you're going to be wearing to school tomorrow. How are you going to have your hair up in a ponytail, or are you going to have it down? That is what you need to be worrying about. You know, oh, who has cooties? You're 11. You should be worrying about cooties. Alright? You know, those little things that little boys have and little girls have, those are cooties. Yeah, you need to be worrying about cooties. You don't need to be worrying about, oh, I have a baby growing inside of me now. What am I going to do? And then these little kids, they hide it from their parents. And then, like, there's a whole clusterfuck that's going on because these kids don't know what's going on. Why? Because the parents weren't paying attention. You know, it really is, it's just awful. I mean, save, if you are going to have sex, wait. Wait until you are at least 16. You know, that's saying the minimum age. And I would really suggest wait till you're 18. Wait till you're at least 16 years old. You know why I say that? Not because the show 16 and Pregnant. No. Yeah, I liked that show at the beginning, but then it just got ridiculous. That show was awful. It was horrible. It's like they're promoting girls to get pregnant to come on the show. And that's awful. It really is. Wait until you are old enough to even be able to have a driver's license. Wait till you're old enough to buy your own pack of cigarettes. You know, and parents, pay attention. If your kids are walking around, they smell like cigarettes, or they have cigarettes in their room, question them and beat their ass. Bust their ass. Why? It's not child abuse. That is not child abuse to discipline your kids. There's a difference between abuse and discipline. I'll do a whole different video on that. But pay attention to what your kids are doing. This is horrible. This is disgusting. And it's just driving me crazy. It's bad enough that we have girls who are 16 to 18 and pregnant. You're not even graduating yet, and you're you're ready to have a baby. You're 9 months pregnant, and you haven't even graduated yet. And I may be ragging on some of my friends unintentionally, but at least they were old enough to drive. I'm not condoning being pregnant at 16. I'm saying if you are going to do anything, you need to wait till you're old enough. Wait until you even know what is going on with your body. Parents, pay more attention and actually parent. Don't be a friend to your kid. Teach them what is right and what is wrong. Let them know what is okay for little kids to be doing and what's okay for them to not be doing. What they should not be doing, what they should be doing, what they should be wearing, what they shouldn't be wearing. It's horrible that this is going on. It's really disgusting, and that is why our society is going downhill so quickly and so awful. That's it for now.